Hi, I am Cristan Mullins of the Civil Parity Party. The Civil Parity Party strives to promote equity across the nation. We stand for women's equality, the funding of beneficial social programs and organizations, stricter regulation and background checking for the purchase of firearms, mental health reform, and the implementation of stronger environmental policies. We believe that all of our planks are of the utmost significance, but I would like to discuss three that I am particularly passionate about. First, I would like to address environmental policies. Our party feels that the policies our country currently has in place regarding the preservation of our planet are not ideal, and frankly, we can do better. According to the EPA, United States greenhouse gas emissions totaled 6,511 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalents. These emissions account for approximately 14% of the world's greenhouse gases, in comparison to the United Kingdom's 1.2%, Mexico's 1.5%, and Canada's 1.6%. Considering the fact that 22% of these emissions are a direct result of industry, the Civil Parity Party would propose laws that limit the amount of emissions allowed. Businesses that exceed this limit will be fined and can potentially lose their business license. The next policy I'd like to focus on is mental health reform. 1 in 4 American adults suffer from a diagnosable mental illness. However, 45% of these Americans go untreated. This is due to the lack of accessible and affordable services in America. I would like to provide alternative resources like teleconferencing and other virtual or in-home services. I will identify funding to support additional resources so that any American who needs access to mental health services will have inexpensive options. Lastly, I will be discussing a woman's right to have an abortion and the funding of Planned Parenthood. My opponent, Nathaniel Horton of the Freedom and Liberty Party, argues that the Charlotte-Lozier Institute states that life begins at conception. However, we must consider the source of this information. The Charlotte-Lozier Institute is a pro-life organization, and their primary goal, as stated on their website, is to promote the value of human life, motherhood and fatherhood, and to identify policies that will protect life. We cannot base policies regarding women's health on opinion and the moral judgment of biased organizations. I will support legislation that allows second trimester abortions. I believe it is a woman's right and responsibility to discuss such matters with her physician and that these decisions do not belong in the hands of politicians. Abortions account for less than 5% of Planned Parenthood services. Planned Parenthood offers STI and STD treatment services, contraception, and other services such as cancer screenings. Defunding Planned Parenthood potentially puts additional barriers in place for women who are seeking inexpensive healthcare options. As the cost of healthcare skyrockets, women will have fewer options for safe gynecology and obstetric services. It is my view that any person's decisions regarding their health should be a personal discussion with a caregiver or a physician. Removing these services will only increase illegal and unsafe abortion practices. I believe that with my leadership, the Civil Parity Party can have a significant impact on environmental concerns. We can reduce our carbon footprint by implementing changes that reward positive and environmentally friendly practices. Our party supports increased access to mental health services for all Americans. The treatment and diagnosis of mental illness is a critical step in helping people to live better and more fulfilling lives. Lastly, our party supports a woman's right to make her own decisions about her personal health. We believe that restricting access and defunding organizations such as Planned Parenthood will further limit healthcare options. I hope that I can count on your support. Together, we can make a difference. And remember, bring this country bliss and vote for Chris.